Gee, I wonder whose kid was in that band.
This is a great band. They're going to represent well when we go to Dallas and New York.
Good job,
Hey.
Jeff.
Thanks.
Proud of your son.
Thanks for letting me show them off a little bit. That was a concert they did just a week and a half ago. So is my audio level okay?
Yep.
Okay, super. Anyways, hey everybody, welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen. We meet here every Friday, except last week for the holiday in the US, but Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We try to talk and test and break and identify everything around Zoom. And so anyways, good to be back, good to be here with you. And welcome to everybody who's here. I've got David and Cone, Ray, Nikki, Josh I see as well. Let me get to gallery, see who I'm missing. All right, got George down there, Kirsten. All right, well, very good. Yeah, boy, no doubt about it. And they're going to be in January and New York City at Jazz for, let's see, I guess they call it Jazz at Lincoln Center, and with Wynton Ellis and competition there. So we're going to be going out to New York, actually, to possibly Dallas as well to support them all accordingly. But they're very talented. I've been super impressed. Anyways, how is everybody? Say hello. Let me know how things going.
Things are going fine here, Jeff. Thank you very much.
Hi,
Very
Coon.
good. Ray, how you been?
Very well. Things are good here in Central Florida. We're enjoying a bit of fall. It probably got down to 51 last night.
Wow, so cold.
We're learning to deal with it.
Actually, in Kansas City yesterday, it was like 71, which was unusual, but we'll take it while we can get it, because soon enough there's going to be snow on the ground. But Nikki, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm very excited I can make it today.
I know, it's been a while.
It has been.
Yeah, good to have you here.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Josh Kaufman, how are you, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. Just got done tearing up all my stuff, and I'm going to be tearing it up all again. So caught me in between two.
Very good. And it's all working. You're doing all right. Got Ward who joined us as well. How are you, Ward?
I'm good. Good. Just glad to be part of the conversation.
You bet. Glad to have you here. Angela just joined us as well. How are you, Angela?
I'm doing well, and I'm glad to sit again. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Glad to have you. Tony's there off camera at the moment, but always glad to have a group here. So as a reminder to everybody, Zoom, but we're streaming out to our YouTube Zoom Test Kitchen and also to our Facebook page. I'll see if I can take a moment and spread that out to the group as well as the page. But needless to say, there's been some things. Let me take a quick survey. Who is running the very latest 5.8.6? David, Ray, okay. Ward, okay, very good. That's good, because it requires that latest version on this presentation control, and that's probably the challenge first. Is it's great to have it. I haven't tested it yet. I've seen how it works at a glance, but does require that both the sharer, if it's not, obviously it's not going to be the same. It's going to be two people involved, right? That's the whole remote part of it. to be on that 5.8.6 version. So I will tap on David or Ward's shoulder to test that out. If anybody has, if any of you three have a PowerPoint deck that you just have, it doesn't matter what the content is, as long as it's showable. You might take a moment and get that queued up as well. That'll be an area we want to take a look at and test out, and functionality works, and then give our opinions as well, right? Because they can build a feature, but is it not that it's not useful, like remote present controls, but are the controls big enough, to click on, with a mouse and so forth while you're the presenter? Do things that cross my mind is, do I have to use the mouse? Can I use a right and a left arrow on the keyboard instead? So we'll take a look at those things. But I see that John hand up. The invitation is, if you've got something on your mind, something you want to test, something you want to ask, it's a safe place. Ask anything, and or share something that you've come across lately as well. Now's the time. So I'll call on Josh first.
Yeah, I was just going to say, on topic with what we're presenting, I'm still on 8.4, but if it's more helpful to see what the legacy stuff does, I can do that, or I can jump off and upgrade if that helps.
Let's on that. Let's just take a quick look at what Zoom says about this. I'm pretty sure it says it requires.
I've got it up here if it's helpful. It's required 0.8.3 or higher.
5.8.3. Okay, great. Cool. So you said you're on 5.4, right, Josh? So you actually should be able to participate. So, okay.
It's interesting though, the update, what it's showing me here. Maybe I can pull it up. It's actually showing the presentation as one of the features. So maybe it's a tweak of it if it's still present in the version I have. I could try it and see how it works.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Anybody else have anything you kind of want to get in the queue, if you will, on, hey, I'd like to talk about or hear about, ask about today? Any thoughts, questions? David.
One of the things I noticed in the release notes is the HD video on mobile devices. And I remember that there were some issues where if you joined a Zoom from a phone, maybe, but it was a phone call, that would appreciate the quality of the Zoom meeting as a whole or something to that effect. And I'm wondering if this might address that.
Yeah, so there were, a couple of things aware of. HD, I'll say my interpretation of HD, understanding, I think what Zoom has, said and described in the past, is HD on mobile is 720.
That's what it says in the notes also.
Yeah, and then the part that you say about a phone deteriorating in the meeting, several weeks back on office hours, when they tried to debut one of the remote songs and they played it and it wasn't going out stereo, and they, at the time they're live on air, they couldn't they tried actually, but they didn't dig. We dug in after hours for quite some time and did testing, and I emailed Sam at Zoom forth on the fly and explained to him what we were doing and the consequences, and he verified, yeah, I can see that it's in fact doing that. I just reached out to the audio development team, so it's like it was a perfect line of connection, which was lucky for us. But anyways, what we had found out at that point was when there was a dial-in caller, not a mobile device using the Zoom client, but a dial-in caller, if they were present, it would eliminate the opportunity to be able to play and deliver stereo. And once that dial-in player, we tested it, we could dial in, it literally stereo 5 seconds ago disappeared, and the moment they hung, it came back. It's like, wow, this is crazy. I haven't tested that since, and I haven't talked to anybody about that since. The reply from Sam was the audio development team was aware that that was the behavior. That was not a huge surprise to them. But he also said that a fix to that should be out very shortly. Like it should already be there and be fixed, but I don't have confirmation with a actual test on that. Does that topically, David, does that ring a bell with what you were thinking? Or
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the specific depreciation was, but that sounds about right. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we could test. We could actually, we could test that, and I'll share it on Discord, Office Hours Discord, our result, because we can just have somebody dial in with telephone with the phone number, not the Zoom client, and I'll play. I think what I was playing, prelude to the show, should have been coming through stereo. They had their investment on their at that university is amazing. Every mic, each micro, they had every individual, and I know, they were AKCs, but I don't remember the model number. But for each saxophone, they're $1,100 mics each, and it was like, wow. It's a heck of an investment. The solo mics, I know I looked up, were about $500 each, and I didn't look super close at what everybody else was blowing into, but and they're near. I don't know who he is, but he's a graduate from their audio engineering course, and was just fantastic. They're camera people, slaps, but because my son's first solo, they missed 3/4 of it. They were aimed at everybody else but him, and then when it was a live stream and he had a second solo right after intermission, their stream died. It's just like, you're killing me. I texted my son. I said, you must have an enemy in the control room, man, because they are just killing this set of parents right now. But anyways, I was kind of just excited to play it. I literally just downloaded. They've never offered a recording afterwards, but I guess they had several parents. I didn't reach out and complain. I just let my son know. But I think they had enough issues to where the director felt like he needed to make that available. So that was pretty kind of him.
I would have loved for you to be able to share that video in the waiting room, but they pulled that feature from this release.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that yet either.
Yeah, they said, we read about it actually 2 weeks ago that it was, but it didn't actually make the release list after all, is what you're saying, huh?
Well, they're just saying it was pulled. It was actually in the release, but they pulled it pending some final enhancements, they say here.
Yeah. I don't know I'd love to, be a fly on the wall and find out what's really gone on with that feature, because it was released a few months ago and then pulled back. They wouldn't, like, I put in a request to add it to our account, and they at that point they had stopped. The development team wouldn't release it anymore, and so I was excited to see it coming back, but didn't quite make it. So anyways, there are people who have it, so don't be surprised. Like, I know Denise Lahat out of Israel, we were on a meeting the other day, and when I hit her waiting room, I got a video up. So there were body folks who actually got it and got to keep it. They didn't pull it from people. They just wouldn't add it to anybody else. So, all right. Anybody else? Thoughts, ideas? I hope you've got some thoughts and ideas because I didn't come with a big agenda today. Usually it kind of, cures itself in conversation and so forth.
I'll just throw out though that the
Yeah.
automatic is huge. That's just huge because nobody, except for us
I know.
losers, updates properly.
It's so true. It's one of those things. It's interesting to me. I mentioned this one time before. Many weeks ago, I had to put in a sport ticket because 2 weeks in a row, I would host the kitchen, and an hour or so in, my Zoom client the video continue to work, but my participants window, my chat window, my buttons below in the toolbar all froze, and the chat and the participants were like those multiple rubber stamps. It wasn't really refreshing anything, and but yet it was still trying to add ink, if you will, and just became useless. And I haven't experienced that for many weeks, but they just wrote me about it, with a follow-up. I'm just like, really? I mean, it's been weeks. So anyways, I haven't been bothered with it again, but I went on down that track because of something you said, David, and I lost my thought on that one.
Yeah, I was talking about just the automatic updates.
The updates. Yeah. So this was the confusion for me when I, that now it's actually a feature that you can, turn on or turn off, and when you turn it on, do you want it to aggressively update or you kind of stay with they don't really explain it, and I don't know if they go back to what they consider currently stable, because most vendors aren't going to, recognize that they've released versions, but some classification that is if you've seen this dialogue now, is the auto update, by default comes up and is turned on and is by default selected slow updates versus fast updates, which is the day moment it releases and you launch it, it'll install that for you. But when I was having those freezing problems, they had me download a deep cleaning uninstall of Zoom program, and took me back to a version, I don't recall what it was, and what they considered the most stable. And so I did that, and that that worked and kept it from freezing and so forth. But it was super frustrating because that deep clean uninstall removed everything, all my settings, all my preferences, everything. I had to, install the stable version, reset all my settings and preferences and so forth, and then I'd go launch a meeting. And then I'd end it, and the next time I'd launch Zoom, it would update automatically. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, it was killing me because I had to go through the whole resetting of everything each time. It was super frustrating. So I had already been experiencing the auto updates quite a while ago, and now it's an actual feature. So I'm not sure what the difference in the trigger, although it's in the interface now as an option. Then so anyways, it's super surprising, and kind of no longer surprising because come across it so many times, like many of you, how old the versions are that some people come in with, and they they just think everything should work, and when it doesn't work and you kind of call out, hey, it could be your version, and then they tell you what version they're on, and you go, wow, you need to update. And it's kind of startling. So hopefully, organizations will do it, under their domain controller, and make that happen. But you have to, those people sitting on old versions to execute an update, in order to get that new feature. And so it's not like it's going to auto fix them. It will after they get past that first threshold of their next update. So George, what you got?
Hi all. I hope you can hear me. I don't know.
We
Yes?
can.
You can. Okay, good. David, I think bang on game changer, because it's not something that most of the people I know who don't live in this world do. They just don't pay attention. And then they come on and they can't hear or see something. And then we go, have you updated? It's almost the same as you're muted, right? But I think one of the things that I find really difficult to deal with is the inability to save an instance of Zoom settings, because I use Zoom for different clients for different requirements. And yeah, you can kind of do it, but have automatic updates really attractive. But it's a 2-hour process just going through settings these days.
I don't think normal updates wipe out your settings necessarily, but when you, like you said, when you change clients, right? When you're on a different job, and then that's what actually triggers the need to, change settings and so forth. That would be rather convenient to have that. I know the one, what I'm challenged with the most when I jump on another job or whatnot is usually my profile picture and my name. How if it's freelance work, how they want me to identify myself, as a tech, and whether they just want initials or a black square or something that matches the brand of the customer or whatnot. So yeah, it would be nice to be able to save those settings, that's for sure. But some of those settings exist and some of those other settings exist up in the cloud, so they don't make it easy. All right, anybody else before we jump into something? Yes, Angela.
Got an easy one. What is the difference between slow update and the fast update? Why are there differences? I don't understand that.
Yeah, they didn't really granularly, describe what the slow was, but my feeling is the fast update is, hey, if they just released something last night and you started Zoom this morning, if you're set to auto update fast, it will update to that very latest version. Slow won't, but I don't know because they haven't described it to me, how far back that keeps you. And I'm sure it's a moving target, right? Because if they have something internally that they've called their, stable version, which would tie, potentially to the slow option, that would move along as new releases are released as well. So it's probably not just a number of minor versions, as much as like statistical feedback from the support desk of what version they get the least amount of issue with or whatnot as well, would be my thinking. But yeah, it'll be a question I gotta send over to the team and see if I can get a more technical response on what slow is. But that's my understanding now is fast. If they released it and I stopped and restarted, it'll immediately update to that latest one.
Yeah, I was thinking that slow would be a more stable situation. I don't know how they release it, and then they either take it back, have to tweak, whatever. So I thought fast would mean that you might be in the matrix from time to time when things don't work already released. But I don't really know, but I was just wondering.
Yeah,
I better go slow.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to hit that most stable, experience, I would say slow is it. In my world, doing a lot of sharing and testing and so forth, I'll deal with fast. you can always, roll back and install an old, back to an old version if you ran into an issue. But, their track record is, I think, their track record in my world anyways, their releases have been, pretty doggone, solid for the most part. And I've had maybe one or two instances where a new update has caused something, but beyond that, I'm more comfortable with fast than less comfortable with fast, based on my history of staying up to date all the time, and not incurring real negative issues. But if you haven't, especially if you haven't had that same experience, then I would say slow, and they default to slow. I let that certainly be, a little bit of a guide as well. I just need to find out, what slow really represents. All right. Well, what we want to test, dial-in and stereo or PowerPoint remote control? I should throw a
I'll do the PowerPoint, please.
All right.
Would be nice.
Okay, so who
I'm prepared with one.
you have a PowerPoint to share? And
I do.
You've got that. So you're co-host already, so you'll be able to share. So go ahead and do that.
This is a 7-point PowerPoint that I use in some classes, and this is a word. This is, what do they call it? Something that represents a bunch of words.
Yep.
So who has control?
I think you have to offer it.
I have to offer it. How do I do that?
Now, did you
screen
share your screen or did you share PowerPoint?
I shared my. I just gave permission.
Okay, but do answer the question though. Did you share the screen or the PowerPoint? Because I'd like to know, does it make a difference?
I went to share screen and I select the PowerPoint screen that was one of the choices.
So you shared screen, an actual monitor that had a PowerPoint presentation
Yes.
on it, and it still gave you the option to pick who you wanted to give remote control to. That's good to know.
No, I have two monitors. And so this is my main monitor, and then I have the teleprompter, which is the group presentation.
Yeah.
So I'm showing it now. Is it on program? I can't tell.
Yeah, no, we've got it. Yeah, it's
All right.
full screen slide.
So this is a hint of what this means. Go, Josh, you crazy man.
So Josh, why don't you go ahead and audit of when he gave you, and Frank, God, ever would have called you Frank.
Oh, Ray was
that
always
one
here.
day. I know. Anyways, Ray, why don't you first describe when you granted him privileges, what that looked like and felt like as well. Do you have a way to overlay that?
I got a pop-up. Let's see. I got a pop-up that says.
I may have preempted the process by requesting control.
Yeah.
So you can, it's good is you can either someone, when you start sharing your screen, there's a little mouse icon down by where you're sharing that you can offer control to somebody, or on the menu for options, you can request control. And so that's what
Josh just popped up and I gave it to him.
I don't know that I'm convinced that that's the new presentation control function.
I don't see the option to request control anywhere.
So you won't see it if someone else Well, I could relinquish it. So I'm showing my screen. I think I am, right? Am I not? I'm not. Wait a minute. Oh, my screen capture's capturing the wrong thing. Pardon me.
The only thing on this PowerPoint frame for me is the choice for stop share. I don't even have a choice to stop Josh from controlling my screen at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah, see, I think what Josh, that he requested remote control.
Right. That now I can
Yeah.
also give up control here,
Yeah.
and this is the same menu. Now you won't see this option since I've already engaged it. You won't see this option to request control, but it's underneath this menu. When someone starts sharing,
Yep.
if no one else has grabbed control yet, you can request
Yeah.
it.
Now, so I'll clarify.
I saw it there.
That is a feature that has existed for a while. That's not the presentation
Correct.
control feature, right?
Mhm.
And the problem with that, and the reason I won't use it on real gigs, is it's a total battle. Like Ray has a PowerPoint on one monitor, and he's given you control, but what he's really relinquished control of is his mouse everywhere. So he can't now do something on the other monitor while you have remote control because you guys are battling over the mouse pointer. True?
Correct.
And I don't seem to have, I do.
Hi, Lois.
So I've got again. So you see what I see. So right now it says waiting for Josh to control your screen. I advanced this just by hitting a space bar,
Uh-huh.
but I did not have that option when Josh had control of the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I mean, we can spend more time on remote control, but I'm telling you, working with it is you won't professionally use remote control, and if you do, you're crazy. Or you have a completely separate system that has joined the Zoom meeting, and you do not need to do anything except launch the presentation and grant access to somebody having remote control,
Which is very
Otherwise-
unlikely.
Oh, I mean, not most people. I mean, I do, I feed video and, sometimes audio and PowerPoints in from another system, but not a system that I don't want to have anything to do with, and so that's where I think remote control, fails pretty miserably. The remote control, I think, is about support, being able to guide somebody through, or I think Josh can probably minimize your browser as well. It's not just a PowerPoint thing. Josh, do you have that mouse?
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Doesn't appear that I have control of that window. Can I? Oh, did I do that?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's much more than
Mwahaha.
just like advancing slides and so forth. So so let's go ahead and let's kill that share.
So I'm going to give up control.
And let me
I gave up share before you gave up.
You can't fire me. I quit.
let me find a deck I can use here real quick. I mean, it's like, I know I've got decks here. I just don't know. Green room, here we go.
Hello, Toby. I did get in.
Hello, Lois.
Hey, Jeff, this is Jeremy. I have a quick question. Has anybody used Internet Clicker for this purpose?
Oh yeah, that's what I
You guys were talking
use,
about that. At all.
use it all the time for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and I'll share my screen 3. So that's the slide that I have. And I have the internet clicker piece, installed, a little plug-in for PowerPoint and make it connect, and the whole bit. It works super slick. They can use their desktop, they can use a mobile device, tablet, phone, whatever, advanced, and big buttons, forward and back. And it can do a little bit more than that as well. But anyways, there's that. So I want to put that in presentation. Oops, that's on dual screen. I don't want that. And go to single screen. No presenter view. Automatic monitor 3. There we go. All right, so that's full screen presentation. I'll turn off its closed captioning in PowerPoint. And I'm going to go drag my Zoom window over there for a moment, since that's the screen I'm sharing. And sharing. There's nothing new button-wise that comes on the bottom because I'm sharing screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the PowerPoint presentation instead of a monitor or a screen, and click on share. Now the share is back, but I have my toolbar. Can you see that toolbar on the slide, Prezzo? No, you can see my mouse. I drug it on there, but it's not like sharing it because I told it to limit it to that. But anyways, what happened was it my
I'm sharing back. But I'm
toolbar
seeing.
added a new icon called remote control. And I'm not sure. We're gonna find out here. Let me confirm. Share screen. Yeah, remote control is there. So that's new. But if I share just the deck, so it still calls it remote control, but I say, Josh, now you have remote control. See if that remote control, go ahead and move this around. Yeah. Hit escape and try to kill that presentation. That still does the screen sharing stuff. A question being, so let me share again let me put this back in presentation. And I just want to make sure there's nothing else new under the more button of my toolbar. Focus mode, I don't see anything there. So remote control, go to Josh, and does that pop up a left arrow, right arrow for you on your screen, Josh, to advance or whatnot?
It does not.
Slides?
It does not. Hover over the edge to move the screen.
So let me grant remote control to, let's stop that. And let me grant to David, who we know is on the latest version. Although 584 should work according to their numbers. You have remote control now, David. Did it pop up a kind of a left arrow, right arrow on your screen anywhere?
I don't think so.
And I'm asking that because that's what I've seen in the video clips.
And I'm
demo
clicking right
this.
and left and nothing's happening. Let me. I don't. It says you can control Jeff. Hold on a second. You can control Jeff's screen view option. My keyboard layout. So I've got, all right. So I've got the yellow bar at the top that says you can control Jeff's screen. Then I've got view options next to that, fit to window, 50%. Yeah. Then stop remote control, use my keyboard layout, use Jeff's, exit, annotate, hide video. So now how the heck do I'm trying to go forward and backward and it's not letting me.
Yeah, you've probably lost focus if you try to move your mouse till you can see it on the slides. Click on it, it's probably.
Take it away and let's do it again. Okay.
Also, Jeff, is just out of curiosity, whenever you were speaking, we were getting a simultaneous translation of just your voice on the shared screen.
Yeah, that's the captioning because it's coming from the share, but it's coming from PowerPoint. So PowerPoint only hears me. It doesn't hear the whole meeting. So I just turned that off.
So I now have the same thing I saw before. No controls popped up on either. I'm using a dual monitor layout on either of my screens. So I have no idea how to control this.
We'll see if I can find one of these. Trying to see if I can find one of these clips that I had where they did a quick demo. Yeah, here it's on the Zoom Facebook page. Pro tip, enhanced slide control. So here, let me kill the share. Let me share my screen. So see, they didn't select a screen or a desktop. They selected the PowerPoint itself. And they clicked share.
Oh, were you sharing your screen? It's not for screen sharing. It's for
No,
share.
I actually tested both. So the icon I'm looking for, from what they're showing there now, is shared the PowerPoint. There's the PowerPoint. And the toolbar, the Zoom toolbar, he has it above the PowerPoint, should have the slide control. That's what we're looking for. And I have not seen that appear yet. Yeah, then you can, participants only see slide controls when you are in presentation mode. Okay.
Your question, Kirsten, yes, that is what we're trying to do. We're not seeing the controls.
And then they get a pop-up that says, given slide control, use the buttons below or
We should
keyboard
also, Jeff,
shortcuts.
we should also identify that we're both on Macs.
I am not.
Oh, I'm sorry. PC, I'm on a Mac.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this video, I don't think they've noted anything in their release notes of platform differences, but I mean, this video is made.
Notes did say make sure you are on the minimum version of Mac or Windows.
Minimum version? What does that mean?
Well, I'm assuming that
The
means the minimum one that discloses that feature in it.
Yeah.
But that might be something to try. There's a glitch if there's Mac to Mac.
Okay, let me get that.
We've already tried Windows to Windows.
Okay, so let me take a look at this one more time then. On Windows, I share the PowerPoint, click share, and I only see remote control there under the more button. Oftentimes things can be, but there's no slide control under the more button either. So I'm going to give up the effort here and let David, why don't you share a PowerPoint since you're on a Mac, I'm on a PC, and see if that provides a different experience. Greg, if you're listening and can talk, I'd love to know if you and I talked about this a little bit, but I don't know if you've used it yet. Not seeing PowerPoint. You have PowerPoint open on your desktop already, David?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm using Keynote. But I'm not seeing the share.
Keynote language matters.
Keynote language. There we go.
Okay, so now in your toolbar, did you get the slide control button? Your Zoom toolbar?
Let's see. Pause, breakout, restart. Hide video. No. I don't have that. I'm definitely on the latest version too.
Yeah, so now this is what I'm thinking, and this is just because of historical experience of other released features. Gosh, I'm trying to remember which one that was. They released a feature and we were on, Ed and I went through this. It'll come to me. But we went through it and it's like, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. We had to, and we left, came back in, stopped Zoom, went back in. It wasn't until we exited the meeting, logged out of the Zoom client, then restarted the Zoom client, forcing ourselves to log back in, and then going back into the meeting, poof, feature was there. And I know I mean, if this is the same or not, but I'd be interested, David, if you would be interested in leaving the meeting and forcing yourself to log out of the client, kill the client, restart the client, and log back in and rejoin us. That would be greatly useful.
I'm out of here.
Okay.
And to your point, Jeff, the comment on that said to do just that, to completely quit the Zoom client and to resume.
The comment on.
There was a, I think I lost it. One question about getting the slide control, and the answer was completely the Zoom client and restart.
Yeah, and I think the magic may be having to log off, not quit even. I've had to do this one time many months ago, and can't remember the feature that we were waiting for, but but it had been that was the mystery. It had been announced and released, but nobody was seeing it for days. And it was the Share Advanced Video, the built-in video share player, and that was the first time we ever figured it. So we were on the right version, but absolutely couldn't get it going. And and then finally, and so the software we were on was capable, but I think the quitting, logging off, and logging in and rejoining told like a parameter inside of our system to actually turn it on. All the code was there and perfectly capable of running it was our best assessment. So David is back. Whenever you're ready, David.
So now I've got the exact same thing.
No slide control button.
Nope. And I did check to make sure I was updated completely. Logged
And
out,
David,
logged in.
did you happen to log out of your account or
Yes.
just
No,
quit
I
the-
logged out, shut down, opened it back up, logged back in.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So here, Josh, I'm going to, 'cause since I'm on a PC, I want to go through the same thing. I'm going to make you host, Josh. I'm going to go ahead and leave this meeting and go through the same thing on the PC and just see if both platforms are equal right now.
10-4.
Right back.
Does anyone know what the keyboard distinction is? Using your keyboard or the host's keyboard?
I would assume it has to do with a Mac keyboard layout versus a PC keyboard layout. I could be wrong.
I had that option when I was controlling Jeff's, and I believe we're both on PCs. Unless it locks up. Yeah, I don't know what that would difference that would make. Maybe it does. Maybe that is what it is.
Kirsten, did you want to chime in? You have your hand up.
Yes, I wanted to ask, how did you prepare this feature in your Zoom web client?
Need to turn the volume up. Hear you. And your mic. You're very, very soft.
Just coming in really low.
I can try. Is it better?
It's a little bit better. Well, I think you're soft spoken as well. Participants, chat. Okay. So I left the meeting. I signed out of my client. I exited the client completely. Checked the version. Restarted the client. Re-logged back in, and then finally came back into the meeting. So that's what I've done so far. So let me try the same. Go to slides, share, PowerPoint. Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
Now, the sample video on your Facebook page did say that PowerPoint had to be running before that sharing button would appear.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're seeing my shared PowerPoint right now. And when they showed that in the video, they shared it with PowerPoint, not in presentation mode first as well. So I'm going to go into presentation mode now and share it. And then the same thing, just a remote control, but no slide control. Bummer. So I wonder, yeah, I'll have to get in touch with support. If you guys get into a discussion that I don't have to, be there for, I'll actually call them. I'm spoiled with guys, sponsorship of this Zoom account because it's an enterprise account, and I dial a number and they answer. Period. It's amazing how fast they answer and help out. So we may be able to get an answer while we're still here in the meeting. Okay. Well, any other tests, thought, variations, combinations that you can think of that we want to test before we abandon this topic?
I was curious about what the keyboard option is, if anyone knows. When you get to choose between your keyboard or the host's keyboard when you're sharing the file.
On the remote control piece of it?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just trying to put some logical thought into that. And I'm wondering why the question is asked in that sense. I imagine if I had programmed in, specific custom shortcuts, maybe, and I let you know what those custom shortcuts to your Zoom client when I do a share and give you remote control, since you're aware of them, then you could choose my keyboard and use those shortcuts instead. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
That would be extremely powerful if that was the case. I'm more interested than ever in finding out what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, let's take a look here. If I go to shortcuts, actually you can't really create shortcuts. You can either know what they are and make them global, some of them global, or not. Yeah, I kind of a little bummed out when that's the case. Rob put into chat possible other topic. He said he spoke with Zoom and said waiting room. Most likely you should enable it at an account level, then personalize. So this is Robert. Are you on with us still? Yeah, you're there. I don't know if you're able to contribute or outside of chat. Yeah, he's busy there. But is this the waiting room with like pre-roll video and so forth? I'm assuming what you're talking about. Yeah. So David had indicated in the notes that feature that was supposed to be out on the 29th release notes has actually been held back right now. Although in chat you've also included a support link. How to use the waiting room. How to customize. Yeah, I don't think this link gets into the video side of it though. Yeah. Okay. All right, so very good. All right. Yeah, that's I don't know if we've fallen that flat in a long time on a new feature, but I mean even Zoom released a demo of it and so forth, so really surprised that neither of our platforms really get it.
I'm gonna jump out and
to
restart
work.
too, just in
Yeah.
case that helps.
Okay.
I don't know that we got to Kirsten's question and her microphone off now.
Oh, yeah, let's give it a shot, Kirsten.
I can try again. I tried to tune a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I
much
still haven't
better.
worked out with the audio meters, so
What
I will in
what
future.
kind of microphone do you have for that windscreen?
It's SC425. It's a USB microphone from Thomann in Germany, so it's
Okay.
about $100.
Is it round or is it more of a flat end on it?
It is more like.
Yeah, so it can
Yeah.
you can speak to the side of that one. I was just thinking maybe you were talking across the top a little much versus directly at it, but I would say, if you look at David's, same style, right? As far as the condenser may be, but kind of David, would it be fair to say you're at about a 45 degree angle? Not directly into it, right? But about a 45, so you can kind of hit the top. Yours almost looks like it might be leaning away from you. I'm not sure if that's true. You might turn the top of it towards you just several degrees is all. And it may go ahead to us now, Kirsten.
Yeah, I can try. I don't know if
Okay.
it's any different.
Yeah, no, you're much more present on that microphone now, for sure. Yeah,
So my main question was, how did you prepare in your Zoom account settings to enable this or disable and enable the slide control? That was my question, because when I look into the Zoom notes, maybe I missed it because I came later. So
No,
because it
it's
sounds like
actually
you
a
have to have it enabled in there to use it.
Do they note that? They note that it needs to be enabled on the back end?
Yeah, it's on that
Okay.
link which I've put in.
That is probably exactly what I've missed on my end hosting this meeting then. Let me take a look. There it is. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Kirsten. You've saved the day. All right. So under settings, just did a quick, Control F to find presentation. And there it is. So I did not prepare as the answer to your question on the back end portal. So all right. So the question is highly unlikely that's going to carry forward while we're in this meeting. Let me just test it and be absolutely shocked if it does, but I'll test it. It's less interrupt. At least give it a try. Yeah, same thing on my toolbar there. Not surprising. But I am wondering if I temporarily, I'll give David host. I'll leave and come back. Other David. Hello, David Brady. You show up and you're instantly host. You're it. So David, you're host. I'm going to depart and come back so that it pulls that change in, and we'll see if it carries out to you guys who are in this meeting. I'm not 100% sure that that's going to work, but I'm going to try.
So decided to reboot again.
No, what we discovered that there's you have to toggle it on in settings, which is why it wasn't working.
For the slide control or for the video?
Yes, for the slide control.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, you have to go into settings and then let me let him back in.
Interesting. I see. I wonder if maybe one of us should have it off and see who needs to have it. Would that be? It says during a presentation, the person who is sharing can allow others to control the PowerPoint keynote presentation.
I did not enable it at my end because I didn't. Kirsten call me and tell me, make sure you do that. So I too let it go.
Gotcha. Be on the same mailing list then. Is that it?
Oh, I'm in good company then.
Josh, have you enabled
Can't
it
hear you,
on
Kirsten.
your portal side?
I've not. I can keep it off, or I could turn it on and do a reboot like you have.
Well, no. Well, so what I'm saying is, I'm back in, and I have slide control now. Now that I've shared the presentation,
Is that for the sharer or the sharee?
well, that's on my Zoom toolbar. Now that I'm sharing a PowerPoint, slide control shows instead of remote control. And when I click on it, it says I can assign slide control privileges to who. Now, there's only 2 people on that list right now, David Brady and Josh Kaufman. So now we know David Packin is up to the latest version, but I'm wondering, David, if you can bring up your portal, find that presentation settings option, enable it.
So I enabled it on my end already. Do you want me to shut down and?
Yeah. Have you left the meeting and rejoined
No,
since?
I'll do that right now.
Do that and see if you end up on this list.
I wonder if he actually excluded himself by making the setting without resetting it. Because apparently I haven't made the adjustment, and you're saying that I'm on the list of people that
You
can
are on
control.
the list, yeah.
You want to try giving it to me? And I'll share.
Does it have on who has the ability to mute and unmute someone? Does that have any correlation? No.
No, it should just it should be able to be potentially anybody with the a version that's capable. I'm assuming also with the setting, which it's interesting to me that an attendee would have to toggle a feature on when it's not your meeting. You know what I'm saying? You're attending a meeting, it's not your meeting. And so I'm really interested to see if David shows up on my list now, because that would really kind of wig me out a little bit. Like, I've never had to tell an attendee to go to the portal and enable something. So I'm sharing the presentation again. I see slide control, and now David Paskin is on the list. Son of a gun. And George Butters got added as well. Did anything change in your world, George?
Yes, I went in and changed the settings, dropped out, came back in.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So what's interesting is that I have not changed. You're saying I'm on the list to control it.
Yeah. Can you see in the settings that your feature is definitely not turned on?
I can definitely see. Yep.
Where in the?
So it's right here.
Oh.
Whoopsie. I did a thing. It's right here.
Advanced
Is the
profile.
setting.
Are you in the same account, Josh, as Jeff?
As Jeff?
Is
Am I in
the same
account? No, I'm
domain?
not.
Yeah.
I actually logged out and logged into another account when I came in the second time.
Where is that whiteboard?
So the account you're logged in with to the meeting right is the portal account that we're looking at.
Yeah.
It's turned off.
And I have it off. I wonder if I were to, first off, just because I'm on the list, we don't know that it actually is going to work since I have it turned off. So we could test that. And then second of all, if I then turned it on in the meeting without going out, I wonder if I then disappear off that list, like what happened to David.
Well, what's curious, Jeff, you say that you can give me permission to
Yeah, David
pass it
Brady,
over for a
Josh
sec. 'Cause
Kaufman, David Paskin. Now, I just did something a touch different in the sense as well that I shared, just to test this, I shared my screen number 3. Instead of the PowerPoint directly, it's screen number 3, and I still end up with the slide control button in the toolbar. That's actually, to me, that's a little surprising because it's the PowerPoint is on the screen versus sharing that app. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say, hey, David, I'm gonna choose you. Oh, I can choose everybody too. I can choose multiple people. Hey, hang on, but I can't unchoose you. What the heck? So I checked David, and it said one person can control slides. I'm like, well, what does that mean? Does that mean more than one can? I clicked, and so you're all checked.
right now,
But now I can't uncheck them.
the option is disabled on my account in my portal. So that toggle is off on me.
So so David Paskin is requesting remote control. That I don't want to do right now. But David Brady first.
Oh, I meant to request slide control. Sorry.
Yeah. See, I don't think you can request control. I think give slide control from everything I've seen so far. But David, do you have a left-right arrow button that popped up on your screen somewhere?
Not that I'm seeing, unless it's in this infinite
Josh?
thing that Josh has going. Hold on, wait. Let's unpin Josh for a minute.
I only saw a request remote control. That was the only thing I saw differently, and that was in the drop down next to the little share bar.
And on my control portal for slide control, that toggle is off.
Yours is off. Share the PowerPoint directly, and I'm going to go to David Brady. What version of Zoom are you running?
I'm on the latest and greatest. I live on the bleeding edge
of
technology at all times.
So I have given just David Brady.
And this control should show up where?
Well, their video example showed like a little tool, little bar on
kind
the
of by
bottom
the
leftish. That was kind of left arrow, right arrow.
Let me see something. Let me move the deck, make this full screen, and nothing. But I'm going to try one thing. Let's see if I do this.
Hit your right arrow or left arrow on your keyboard just to see if it does anything to the slides.
When you click on the slides, does it do anything, David?
Nope.
That was me.
Nothing.
Take it back to the beginning. Okay, so let me stop the share. I think the ability to deselect, not being able to deselect somebody that you've given control to is
to revoke
definitely a problem. But I'm going to give this to David Paskin. You should be now the slides. And so what's interesting here as well is I chose David. And anything change on your screen, David, as far as having any feeling like you have any control?
I got no control whatsoever. I'm powerless.
Because you're not using PowerPoint. It's a different deck.
It's really strange because
the keynote
the slide control, I click it, I share the slides, slide control button up there. I click it, it gives me, this is participants can only see slide controls when you are in presentation mode, which I am in presentation mode. Let me kill presentation mode and go back into, well, that stops the share. Let's do this. Let me go out of presentation mode, share PowerPoint. So you're seeing the whole PowerPoint app right now. Slide control, David Paskin. I'm going to go over here and put it in presentation mode. Did that do anything different?
No.
Oh, you don't unmute yourself with a no. I thought you were going to go yes.
Sorry.
All right. No, that's all right. I thought maybe, you know, that might be a trigger. And the other thing is just talking out loud on this is like my slide control on the toolbar now has a number 1 next to it because I chose David, and then, you know, lost focus and the drop down went away, which is fine, but it says slide control with a number 1 next to it because there was one person that I selected. So I, as a user, would go back here to slide control, click on it to see those people again, but it doesn't tell me which user. The check mark that I had put next to David Baskin is no longer checked. And it's just hard to me. Josh is now the one person.
You want to let me give it a try before
I'm going to select all 4 of you. So it says 4 that can now control. Do any of you have any indication on your screen of a forward arrow, back arrow to advance the slides?
No.
Don't steal my my thing.
Yeah, look excited. Look excited. Shake your hand. No.
I don't think I got it quite right. It was the closest I could come.
Okay.
Here, if I was on the list, and I went to a single monitor just to see what that would look like, and yeah, no difference.
Yeah, I wonder, you're doing multi control. Maybe try a single control and see if that does better.
For the number of people.
Yeah, stop sharing and then and then just give one person control.
I'm gonna move my PowerPoint to my number 1 monitor as well. I was on number 3, so I'm gonna.
Is it?
That.
Hey, Jeff.
Yeah.
Is it possible that this is connected in some way to the native share PowerPoint as background? I wonder if we try that.
But the other thing is, are you sharing the PowerPoint output window, the actual window?
Not
the screen?
well. I've tested both, and so I did the screen. The example that they show is they share PowerPoint, which to me makes way more sense for Zoom to, you know, be triggered that this is a PowerPoint or this is a keynote, therefore display the control toolbars, right?
Oh. Wait, so, you know, like when you're in presentation mode, PowerPoint, the app is still running kind of in the background. I'm wondering, does that need to be shared rather than the output display?
Well, right now I only have, like, under my share, I'm not in presentation mode, so there's only one square indicating PowerPoint. So I'm going to share PowerPoint, which is how they did it in their demo as well. They shared the app first, so now you can see PowerPoint. I'm going to...
How does Zoom know that what you're sharing is PowerPoint? It sees... it names it in the sharing options, but it's only naming that. It doesn't actually know that that's a PowerPoint. It just knows that that's what that screen is labeled, or that app is labeled.
It's not a screen. It is the name of the app. I mean, like if I go into share, I can share app called vMix. That's not a screen. It's an executable called vMix, one called PowerPoint. I mean, it does know the native app.
Right, but I guess what I'm suggesting though is that it's still essentially just doing a screen scrape of the app, right? So it's not like it's pulling the actual app into Zoom. So how can it get control over an app unless the file itself or the app itself is somehow in Zoom?
Well, I mean, they're tied in. They've got to have a tie and hook. You know, my guess would be because I've shared the PowerPoint app, it knows it's PowerPoint. Therefore, they can then use the power of PowerPoint's API to advance and go next in previewing. A high level way to share my thoughts on that anyway. So here's that. I'm going to go into, whoops, let me redo the slideshow to open up on the same monitor as the app. Monitor, yeah, primary. Okay. All right, so that.
What it's worth, the how to assign slide control, the help article says you have to begin sharing a keynote. So join or start the webinar, begin sharing. So you have to be sharing it.
I can just
Whoever that was.
You're breaking up, Ward.
Yep.
What is presentation mode? Is that screen sharing?
That's when you kind of get out of the PowerPoint tool view, builder view, and you go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Presentation mode in PowerPoint. I'm sorry.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Right. And you've tried it both ways, right, Jeff? You tried it in presentation mode and just sharing the PowerPoint app.
Yeah.
Ward says he just got it working perfectly.
Yeah, just that too. Yeah, I've shared the screen. I've shared the app without presentation mode, and then went into presentation mode, which is what's on their demo. But now I did presentation mode prior to, and like I'm in presentation mode right now. I'm going to go to the preso mode. Go have assigned control of it, and I'm guessing you're still not going to see anything, right?
Yeah, Ward, if you can hear it, breaking up pretty hard.
Ward, yeah, we'd love to.
Although we see your screen, but your audio was coming chunky.
Where did Ward go? I'm looking for him on my screen. Oh, I see. So we're not hearing from Ward right now, although I've spotlighted.
He's got us in the chat. He's.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Oh, interesting.
Stop slide control. I do not think I never saw stop slide control. So I could pick a person, check them, but there was never a start, if you will. And when I came back to the slide control button again, I did not ever see stop slide control, and the person I had checked would not be checked. But I'll still indicate one person could control the slides. Mac or PC, Ward?
I wonder if there's not a meeting setting that needs to be adjusted, is there?
Well,
okay.
If somebody...
Ward said he...
No? Okay.
Interesting.
Bizarre. Really bizarre. What version of... are you using locally installed PowerPoint, and what version? Where's the about in PowerPoint these days? Like, help. What's new? I want to be able to answer the same question I just asked Ward.
Can we let Ward share, or maybe he is now, forgive me, in our meeting and then give one of us,
Yeah.
let one of us control it?
Yeah. Ward, I'm making you a co-host. Okay. I'm going to kill the spotlight. Ward, you should be able to share in this meeting now as well.
He's going to bring that machine into the room.
Okay. This is a little bit of a tough dig.
Well, this is the place you want to find the problems out at.
Absolutely.
How come everyone's got bagels?
Got a real simple deck on deck. If you want to let me share it, I'll.
Okay, I've come in on another system.
Oh, there we go.
You're double.
If I can share.
Ward, do you have two mics live right now, by chance? I hear there's a reverb, heavy reverb.
Yeah, he
or
does.
Echo.
Yeah. And mute the old Ward, not the new Ward. I think I like the new Ward better.
The new and improved.
Oh, that's the old Ward.
Yeah. I wonder if you might, Ward, you might want to, I wonder if you can dial in on your phone so we can hear you better.
Well, the other audio came through fine.
How's that?
That's better.
Better?
Okay. I'm waiting on a new system. On my old one, as soon as I run PowerPoint, it kills everything. So I'm in as Ward Cameron with no video. If I can, but I'm not enabled for screen sharing.
Let me.
It says host is disabled.
Whoops. All right, go ahead.
Just get the PowerPoint running. Okay, this is on Northern Lights. So I can pull up slide control and I should be able to then give that to you, Jeff.
Okay.
Anything?
Nothing.
It's bizarre. I just had a mini meeting with my girlfriend downstairs and it worked perfect.
Huh. Curious. I wonder if, this is just a wild guess, but I wonder if, how we've had some issues with some people in the meeting affecting the effect of the meeting, like the quality of the video, quality of the audio. I wonder if your exclusive meeting with just you and one other person simplified something to where it was able to work. And
Or is it possible that there's a setting in it, like is this account part of a group or an organization?
No, it's just a free account. We're
No,
both
I mean,
on.
I mean the one that we're on, the one that Jeff is on.
Ooh.
Yeah, but my machine has become kind of central at the moment.
I have a feeling
that he was able to share to his girlfriend, and she saw the controls pop up and could control it. He shared it to me, but that was a separate meeting though too.
But Jeff is.
What I'm thinking is because I enabled the control in settings before I started a meeting.
Yeah.
I think it's because the meeting started before we all initiated those.
I have that's true. I tried to cheat the system by, leaving and coming back. And yes, I individually have the control, but everybody in the meeting
Right.
maybe hasn't inherited the change made, right? But now, you came back into this meeting, but the meeting the meeting has not restarted, and that could very well be key to this whole problem right now. I've never abandoned an entire meeting during Zoom Test Kitchen.
Well, maybe we could send a satellite out. And well, that's basically what Ward did.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah. So the only was I started a new meeting for my meeting with my girlfriend after I enabled the feature.
So, Josh, do you want to hop on a meeting? I can give you a quick, and then we can hop back in.
I've got a Mac
Sure.
next
I can
to
launch
that,
another
I
instance
could
of
do that
Zoom
with
and jump
too.
over there with you. Just drop the details.
If you can, give me a number and a code instead of a link, because I'm going to join from a different code.
Oh, did you want me to initiate it, David?
Nope, sorry. I thought you were going to. I will do it right now. Give me a second.
Okay. If you can, give me. Okay, the new version of Zoom I have up is 5.8.6, 2048, so it should be good.
I'm going to type in a meeting ID and password in a chat that I've just launched on my Mac after making that setting change behind the scenes first as well. So I'll have a couple to test. I think I can see, but I can't. 87. Okay. All right. There's a meeting there. If somebody if somebody has another device that you can come in with, or you could drop from this meeting and join that one, whichever you'd like.
I'll go ahead and join yours since you've got it up. Give me one second.
I'll jump over there too. I have a second instance up, so I'll just halfway step over there.
Jeff, I'm when you're ready.
Okay.
As am I. You want to let me in? It thinks I'm copying him.
Okay, you're both in.
Recording in progress.
Let me.
Okay, enabled aux. All right, let me jump over there for audio.
Test 1, 2, 3 test.
Trying to see if I can get a screen capture of this so everybody can see what we're doing. See if I've got the right tool installed. Scan converter.
It's strange. I seem to have administrative control to let people in.
Yeah, I gave you co-host
Oh, okay.
for the sharing. That's all good. Okay, so I screen capturing. Let me see if I can get this into vMix real quick, guys. Sorry. Okay. My camera in the main meeting is now the desktop of this other meeting that we're doing this test on. If you want to watch that, you may. Turn off this overlay. Okay. All right, so Kirsten, I'm admitting you. And then I've got
One of that.
got a keynote. It's all single monitors. Okay, so back to Zoom. Share. Keynote. Not even in presentation mode. Kind of like their demo. I do have slide control. You guys can see that in the main menu too, right? Are you seeing it? Oh, I'm not showing my toolbars. See if I can. Show my Zoom windows. Might have to do it on the fly. Try that one more time. Still doesn't. Okay. Well, I have slide control. I have David and Josh listed. I'll choose David. It does it. When I choose David, it gives me the stop slide control. It's selected. David, did you get David Paskin? Did you get the ability to? Oh, I'm not in presentation mode yet. Let me hit play on the slide deck. Now. I don't hear you in the main meeting, David. Can you unmute?
Sorry. Yes, I see it. I have it now.
They're looking good over here.
I can show you what it looks like. So here is the shared window, and down at the here are control C slides. And I am now clicking through your slides.
Yeah. Now, can you use your right arrow and left arrow? I'm sorry on this screen capture, guys.
Yes, I can use my right arrow and left arrow.
Jeff, can you spotlight David's screen?
I can probably do that, actually. Let me see. Oh, no, I can't.
So I can use on that Mac, I can go forward and back also. David, can you still go forward and back on the keyboard?
No, actually. That's interesting.
Yeah,
wait a second. Let me try and click.
Yeah, click once with the mouse.
Yeah.
Now you can probably do keyboard because there's a focus thing. Okay.
Yes.
But it's not like you and I are having a battle of switches. A nice improvement. The only thing I like the keyboard part is good. Spacebar forward as well.
No, I got nothing on the space bar.
Right arrow.
Just right and left arrow.
And can you also offer more than one person the control?
Yeah. I
lost my mouse. Let's see my mouse anymore. Who's annotating? I had to click on the slide to get my mouse visible. I'm going to add Josh to the ones who can control it.
So I can annotate somehow.
Yeah, you're not showing up, Kirsten, on my list of participants who can control. So you can see it. You're in that meeting. But in my presentation control, I only have two people listed, David and Josh.
Kirsten, what's that device name? Is that as Kirsten?
What version are you running, Kirsten?
I'm on an iPad now, second meeting, and I'm showing the what I can do.
Interesting.
Yeah, she has.
Let me make this full screen here. Hang on. Go ahead. Hang again. Yeah,
And
that's
just a screen sharing. Yeah, that's the screen sharing
That's
option.
the slide control piece. That's the annotation tools there. Okay. Yeah, so does somebody still have the release notes up of what platforms are supported? Is it Windows and Mac only? Because she's on your Kirsten, you said you're on an iPad, right? To control progression of slides without needing PowerPoint. Google Slides, PowerPoint, Keynote. It doesn't talk about platform.
Am I the only one getting a lot of fuzz in the audio?
No, I hear it in my ears as well.
No, I think it's just doubling up.
Yeah, I'm getting the same, lots of echo from
my Mac
Josh.
is muted now, but speakers are all the way down, microphone's muted.
Could someone of the hosts unspotlight me, please?
There you go. All right.
Yeah, so I was able to also control. I have this control.
Man, this single screen on a Mac right now is driving me nuts because my mouse keeps disappearing. Right now I can't even get it back. What's the shortcut to stop there?
I just want that I can also control. So it's whoever presses the control OSC slides last gets to play.
They get focus,
Yeah. So that's why I guess you could have multiple people.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, if you have three speakers and a master deck, you could give them all control for less interruption time. They can just respect one another. And we can do that with an internet clicker as well. And they can all come in on the same.
And just FYI, Jeff, you're coming in twice with your audio.
Yeah, you should leave
Yeah,
audio.
I'm trying to find a shortcut to stop the share so I can get my dang mouse back.
Alt S. At least on the PC.
Yeah. I'm trying them all. Control S. Alt S. Command S. It is not the same shortcut. There, I did it blindly. Oh, goodness. That was painful. Alright, so killing that shit. I'm gonna go ahead and kill that meeting too.
Evil audio on one of those devices.
So I'm out of that meeting and I'm still hearing this noise.
Something's wonky. Let's see.
It's a cool ocean.
Yeah, I'm the only one unmuted there for a second and it still didn't go away. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, now. Try stopping the screen. Oh no, the screen share stopped.
Do you happen to have an NDI source from your Mac back into your vMix machine?
I did up an NDI. Yeah, that's
it seemed like it cut out for just a second.
There we go.
Ah.
Yeah, it was the audio.
There it is.
Yeah, it was a screen capture out of the Mac into into vMix, and that audio was on. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so I think it's safe to assume that if we all left this meeting, restarted it, and came back in, it would work just fine. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Interesting. That's really good to
Cursing
know.
got us started. That was the back end setting that I had neglected to turn on ahead of this meeting, and then Ward got us to a point right about when we were going to give up to go, no, this does work, and so it rejuvenated our hope a little bit, and so now we've doubly verified. Ward did it. I fired up another system, and so it erases a little bit of the past, which I think at one point I was beginning to get under the impression that we would have to tell attendees to set this setting on the back of their account too, which is not the case. It's just the host, which is good and kind of normal in the Zoom world. So, all right, well, that was a lot longer than I anticipated. I guess I own that since I didn't set it initially. So this is not a have-to for everybody. I still, before I end my day, I want to do the dial-in test on stereo versus, because we know for sure if we get a phone dial-in user, it used to kill the stereo, and the moment they hung up, stereo came right back on running audio. Like, it could be running, it'll go mono and it'll go right back to stereo while running, because that phone appeared and then disappeared from the meeting. So that anybody interested in that, I'm still going to do that, but I want to just kind of pause and see if there's anything else feature-wise, there's, like I said, there's no questions that need to be off limits here in the Zoom Test Kitchen. I will just do an early announcement to you of what's in the works. Zoom event, right? It's heard about, if not even worked on it and so forth. There will be a events test kitchen, and the first date that we're targeting to go live with that will be December 21st. We're going to go, and when I say we, I'm working on a project in conjunction with Denise Lahat, L-A-H-A-T. She's the admin behind the Zoom Event Pros Facebook group, and so we're building, a little bit of a brand, just so there's some recognition, and there's a purpose of, I just noticed my camera's not on the Zoom, behind it as well, and our initial move forward is in this community for the professionals and so forth, so can have some good exposure. It's really a different approach, right? I mean, it's like, first one, do we even speak? Do we even meet anywhere? We will, but kind of the beginnings is, what's the registration process like? to actually, purchase. In this case, would be purchase a free ticket, because there's no way in to a Zoom event with a period. You can't just hand out a meeting ID and a password and expect anybody to be able to join. There's no getting in with this account when you registered and bought that ticket, that account. And so that all has to be in alignment. And then, there's the tour of we'll just set up multiple sessions and so that you can be in the lobby and see what that's like. And we're trying to get a richer experience from Zoom themselves, because they haven't, I'm trying to remember what they called that extra center that they had at, haven't released it yet, but they had it at Zoomtopia. Anyways, you could talk to sales reps and, other folks and so forth, the Echo, something like that. And so part of it's exposure. And then kind of the follow-up to that is, okay, well, how do we build that, right? So kind of the back end to developing that front end lobby and sessions and graphics and some of the challenges. And Josh has, spent, a lot of time on it as well. And we kind of hammered things out and found some surprises, remember that one, that first real shocking surprise was, oh, that's convenient. We can just click on this and send a message to everybody who's bought a ticket. And we did. And it was a one-time effort, period. Couldn't do it twice. It's like, what? I mean, wow, who thought of that? But so it's just finding those things. And so, and then, as we, help bring some exposure and some training and get, Zoom involved occasionally as well to really help solidify, some of the tougher questions and so forth, then, then we have more of a force, if you will, to where we'll have days or sessions, I guess, not mixed, but on this day, it's going to be, just kind of open to the public, if you will, for those that are shopping platforms and they want to go hit the Zoom Events platform and see what it's like and so forth. So we're going after, the professional market like the Zoom Test Kitchen, has day and kind of learn together and share and so forth. So we'll own, maintaining and building the pretty strong relationship we've got with Zoom. Sam and Joey's the product manager. Sam manages, as you know, the Zoom Events team, not the product, but when they have a customer who comes in and pays Zoom to be, consulted and guided and, so forth, it's Sam's team who will build up that Zoom Events, platform for them, where Joey manages the actual product itself, and then we'll just bring everything we learn to these get-togethers and so forth. So that, like I said, that's coming on the 21st. Probably start seeing about a week and a half out. You'll start seeing some marketing, if you will, kind of knowledge post about it, and once Denise and I have all that pulled together. So just a little bit of a preview into what's coming. I like the platform. I've worked on it a couple times now, and like anything, it's just getting, once you get familiar with something, the rules and limitations and capabilities. I think it has a ton of promise as well. Tony, you got your hand up.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to come in for a quick second and say thank you to you, Jeff, for resharing our conversation. I don't know if you remember. It's been I think about a week or so ago.
Sure.
That you reshared our conversation, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. And it inspired me to go back through and just revisit all of the conversations that I've had. And this coming Wednesday will be my 25th actual conversation tone emotion. So I'm looking forward to celebrating that. And again, thank you so much for being willing to have a conversation with me. I just wanted to make sure.
It was a fun night. I appreciate you jumping in to share just that. But yeah, my pleasure. It was a good time being there and had a great panel. Love all your efforts and so forth as well. So yeah, it's a memorable one. It's a keeper. I mean, when I can go out and share it to others, on personal Facebook and LinkedIn and so forth, that I was a guest on a show, it doesn't do me any harm. I closed that show going, I don't know what I say. I feel like I'm being eulogized. It was so, it was humbling for sure, to so many kind things, but yeah, Tony, you're doing great things and really appreciate your efforts and your growth. And I don't know when you first joined Office Hours, but we all just loved watching you get embraced by several, just guide you through, some pretty significant public challenges, of mics and video and computer and all that. And what it's all developed into has been a fascinating testimony of, your perseverance and Office Hours community just really embracing you. So great stuff. All right. Okay. Anything else? Ready for stereo mono? Who's got a phone that they want to dial in with? All right. So the main thing is don't, like if you click on the up arrow button next to the mute button, you can actually tell it to switch to phone audio. You don't want to do. I mean, you dial in the number and connect, but just you don't. I don't want it to be tied to in any fashion tied to anything more than a dial-in call. And I think, let's see. I think the numbers are going to be the same. It's just a matter of not linking your existing video that's in the meeting to the audio, because I'm not sure whether that will alter the tests or not.
Yeah, if you don't enter the participant ID, it'll join you as a generic phone.
Yeah, just the meeting and passcode. Yeah.
Just push pound.
Who's doing that? Who raised their hand on that or phone? George? Okay. So I'm going to play the jazz band again then, so that you can, and if you're listening, Josh, you're already there. You've got both ears in. If you get double earbuds or headphones, something that will make it very noticeable that it's stereo versus it'll the mono if it still breaks it the way it used to. David Brady, did you get my message? Were you able to access the?
I have not had a chance yet. I was out of the building.
No problem.
I will soon we're done.
I thought you'd have fun, just listening to pieces and parts and.
Sure. No, I'm looking forward to it. We'll continue our.
Got it last, I think so. All right, so let me hit this. I'm gonna move this down.
And there is a setting for your own voice that enables stereo audio for your voice channel.
Okay, I'm going to bring up the music. Somebody feel free to, tell me to turn it down if it's too loud or up if it's too soft, but start bringing it up.
I have meters in the meeting.
Okay. Yeah, let me spotlight you for a second and get that up. me see if we can hear you over this, or if maybe you should use chat when you're dialed. Are you dialed in already? Oh, I can see you.
And it's a little loud. So if you want to pull it down to the blue level, that's more conversational. Better? Maybe a couple dB down.
I'm going to rewind it to my end marker for David so you can hear my boy. I think he's going to be the third solo on this one. So the phone is in, showing there's one exception to encryption, which is expected. On the stats, 48, yeah, it's not going to show us stereo or not, but so the question is Josh, do you feel like you're listening to stereo right now?
I do hear stereo.
Okay,
Yep,
so
same
I'm
here.
gonna move the phone to the waiting room. Any difference?
No change.
The only change is that we went back to an encrypted. Oh no, it was there for a minute.
Yeah, it should. It's back now.
Thank you. George just muted.
Yeah. I think they may have it fixed because it would have been drop dead obvious. The test that I'll run on this is rather than putting it through my virtual camera feed, I'll share the file and see if that in itself makes a difference as well.
And I wonder, George, on your end, do you hear? I doubt you would have any capability of hearing stereo, right? You're just hearing a phone quality audio.
The old mini me's coming.
Oh.
All right, let me stop this and do a share of the file instead. See if that produces different results. So the phone is still in the meeting. It's only a 12.5 gig file.
One thing I noticed with George's phone being in there, I don't know if it's local to him, but click on the, it obscures most of his number, and other times I've seen it where you can actually see that number.
Mm.
So I don't know if it's
Yeah, even as the host, yeah, I have partial. Yeah.
okay. So that's like a caller ID block or something. Or
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure.
No, I think there's a setting in Zoom. There's actually
There
a
must
setting
be.
behind Zoom that I remember seeing a long time back that shows all or doesn't.
got it. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
So what,
because I've been in other meetings recently that show the whole full number.
Mm-hmm.
let me, as a matter of fact, I didn't do this as a. Let me do this as the advanced video share, optimized for video, share sound, stereo high fidelity is selected. Okay, so let me find this file. There we go.
You want to pull that down a little bit?
Can't see the image.
Coming down a little.
Down about 5 more decibels.
This is Josh as well, David, coming up. He's not going to get a camera, but he's got audio.
It's the bass solo, right?
Yeah. That's what the cameraman thought. I was beside myself. I was cursing so loud. So I'm going to move the phone to the waiting room. Any difference for you guys who have dual headphones on here in stereo?
Same.
Now I'm going to bring the phone back in.
Warm breeze, Sammy Nestic.
So I'm hearing no feedback, no difference, huh? Sounds like they got that push out. And
Nope.
it's not
George is saying he's got mono.
dial phones are not killing the stereo any longer. That's good. That's good news. I'll have to some of the guys. I think Andy Lipnick. Lipnick, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. Check with Andy. He was one of them. One of the few involved in digging in. See if he's tested since as well. But I seem to feel like we've got a successful test that stereo stays intact even with dial-in users, which is a major plus. Working now, trying to tell, lost the video. Mono says he got mono, huh?
And that's on the phone call, correct, George?
Mono as in single ear or mono in both ears? Okay.
Mono mixed down. Gotcha. 2 words. First word, M.
Mono the whole time, whether I moved your phone into the waiting room or not.
Is there sound in the waiting room?
There's this thing that plays. It's sorry.
We can't hear you, George.
It's elevator music in the waiting room.
Oh, nice.
The
On the
waiting
phone.
my waiting room has elevator music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Push me out there. I want to hear this.
Here, I'll put you out there. I was completely unaware that they had a default music track. Here you go.
Okay, so I'm going to kill this call. Okay.
Might be whatever their phone bridging system is. There's nothing on the PC.
Oh, so you did not hear it.
Oh, interesting.
I got you. Yeah, it's interesting. So,
might be a telephony.
So when I think I'm moving his phone to the waiting room, his phone actually goes to a phone bridge behind their scenes. Yeah, that makes sense.
Wonder if it's like, it would be funny if it was the Cisco call manager hold music, which is called like Opus 13 or something like that.
Wow.
That makes sense. Without a screen visible, trying to give you some visual, some audio cue that don't hang up your phone in a waiting room.
On hold music. So, George, while your phone was in, you heard mono in your headphones in the meeting, though, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I was getting exactly the same in both ears, so it was felt centered. But
So
I was hearing stereo when I had the headset on connected to my Mac. So mono on the phone, stereo on.
Oh, doesn't shock me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So mono when your headsets were connected to the phone only.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that I'm not going to chase down. But yeah, okay. Good. So, so nobody sensed a change of mono stereo, whether the phone was in or out. That's great. George has confirmed that the phone is mono, which I totally get. And now your phone can deliver stereo if you were to connect to the meeting on your phone with the Zoom app versus a strict dial-in number. Now, I didn't want you to use the app, but I'm just saying it. Mono makes sense as a dial-in, but it didn't break us anymore. That's good news. Perfect. Well, thanks for hanging out and testing that with me. Any of you guys using apps, Zoom apps? Any Zoom apps within your meetings or whatnot?
I've used Kahoot.
I've used a couple of the transcription apps. I do a bunch of meetings, and the note takers absolutely love it. But you can see the transcription in real time in the chat. Or in the transcript window. It attaches names to it, but at the end, all the names are gone. Now, maybe it's just the ones I've been using. I'm on my third one now. So I try one for a month, and then when they complain that it's not working, I throw it away. So,
So you guys all got the invite to Heads Up in the chat?
But it prompts,
Heads Up.
Mentioned something about having to log into the Zoom desktop and primary web browser.
I got that same prompt.
Me as well.
Unsubscriber, unlimited free play. Yeah, I mean, I installed Heads Up. I had, there's also a productivity timer. Let me fire that one up. Let's say have a 5-minute break. Can you guys see that already or no? I have it in Collapse Cell. Here's a share. You can see a timer now being shared, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
That's a Zoom app as well. So So I can fire it up on my end, tell it, hey, we're having a 10-minute break. I can hit start. And when I do the first time, it asked me if I wanted to share audio or all computer audio. So I could at the same time just be playing an MP3 and it would be a timer that's shared like you see it plus the audio that's being played on my computer as well. I think I don't remember if I said to do the audio or not. Can you hear that audio? Could you hear that audio at all?
Correct.
You did. Okay. So yeah, I couldn't remember which one I selected, yes audio or no audio, but over on vMix I just turned on the traditional pre-roll music, and with this shared I'm talking in the sense of freelance on a Zoom meeting, moderator type role, and this one way to do. Now we usually have vendors provide us well-made videos and that stuff that ties into the brand, but anyways, I haven't spent a ton of time on apps, but I really need to spend some more time, especially on some of the more popular one. Heads Up, as far as games, like on Heads Up, if I share my screen, when I bring up Heads Up, there's, it's a paid for type thing, but you can do unlimited free, but you still have to give them a credit card and your email. It says pay $11.99. That doesn't make sense. Just said free here. But anyways, you can add players if you have responded, all the way through, but I don't know what all those are right now. So, but it did send out those invites to everybody in the meeting automatically, which was pretty convenient. But anyways, kind of, from fun games to Hadoop, like you said as well. Another one that is pretty popular is there's some word cloud type apps as well that people, Slido has cloud as well, but same kind of concept there. People type in. George, what you got? You're muted.
Everybody wants to have a look at it.
Sure, do it.
Okay. I'll be asking you for permission. Okay, and if you go to the little live transcript, the 2 CCs down the bottom, and click on View Full Transcript, you should start seeing the chat being transcribed.
Yeah, so I'm talking, and does it put me in there? Name and picture too? Yep, absolutely. 2 people should be able to talk. So Josh, let's have a quick back and forth, almost stomp on each other. Go ahead and interrupt me.
I'm not sure that I want to hear you speaking whenever you're talking about me in the reverse direction that we're
now it's
speaking
my
about.
turn, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's your turn, but that's over now, Jeff. And now that's my turn once again. So just wanted to.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Some of these developers have done a pretty good job. Not perfect. It'd be pretty difficult to be perfect, but to be able to recognize, I think some are going after recognizing voice and the Zoom ID, not just the active microphone, because they can obviously get the active microphone to who's logged in and so forth, but also being able to recognize the voice to get it even a little bit accurate between words. Yeah, Kirsten.
Does this only work in English or in other languages as well?
Boy,
Comprends français? Non.
Kannst du Deutsch sprechen?
Ja, genau, Deutsch. Ja.
Ja, sehr gut, sehr gut.
It doesn't seem like this, yeah.
From
Not
what
yet.
I saw Zoomtopia, they're talking about, I did see some multi-language testing. So there were 4 people on a session. They were each speaking a different language, and I was getting a transcript in English.
Wow.
They said they were expecting 6 languages in Q1, and then they were going to be adding some more. So I don't know, but I mean, an amazing game changer if you can flip on a language to have a transcript in real time.
Funny enough, it works in PowerPoint. I haven't tested it quite well yet, but what you showed earlier, Jeff, in PowerPoint, when you can see talk, you can even translate there.
That's very cool. I did not know that.
Is that from the screen sharing or PowerPoint itself?
PowerPoint, it uses Cortana and Azure backend stuff, similar to Watson on IBM, where it'll.
So it's just listening to the shares audio and doing that?
Yeah, a while back, I forget where it was, but Leyland Best was using that as like a rudimentary subtitler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was
Seems like
using
there should be a permission for that.
Google Sheets or Google Docs or something like that, right? Capturing them into vMix, I think.
One of the quirks of this is that you have to save the transcript before the session ends. It does not auto-save.
I thought the cloud offered transcript
Well, yeah, but this transcript is outside of Zoom.
To aid within the meeting during the meeting. Yeah, true.
It shows it's Otter AI.
Yep.
It shows on the top, on the left, on the right bottom corner.
Is it translating, Kirsten?
Well, we're approaching midnight now, so it's been a tough week.
Is it translating, Kirsten?
No, it's not doing any.
Translating or just typing it?
No, it just what's your question about PowerPoint or?
No, the subtitling.
You can see it if you click on the little CC down below.
Yeah.
And
live
then
transcript.
Show subtitle. I didn't put show subtitle, so it won't show you unless you.
Okay.
Do us
won't
in a
translate
different
it,
language. Coon. Speak to us in your native language. See what it does.
Oh, wait, subtitling settings.
But probably you need to buy something for Otter, then you can get different languages.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is already integrated into Zoom.
Well, this was is in the Zoom apps, in the Zoom app collection, and that's where I found it because I tried Otter AI a year ago, and then nobody was really interested. So it was one of those, oh, look, a Zoom app, I'll try it. And I used it for a meeting. And at the end of the meeting, the person taking notes said, don't let that go away. I need that. Right? Because it took a lot of pressure off her. And she could go back and check, not necessarily who said what, but what the conversation flow was.
Cohen, did you try speaking some Dutch?
Ja, ik zal proberen iets in het Nederlands te praten. Hij begrijpt er helemaal geen ene moe van. Ja.
It's not doing a very good job of translating you, is it?
Vielleicht können wir besser Deutsch sprechen, oder geht das? No, Vessel Dutch spreadsheet. Okay.
It's translating. Not yet.
Abecedario. A, B, B, C, C, D, Z, Z, K, kilo, L.
Taking it as close to English as it can.
There you go. Look, I hate to do this, but I have to run for dinner or else.
Hey, don't miss it. Don't miss
It's
it.
been a treat as always. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
everyone.
thanks for
Talk
coming
to you
by,
soon
George.
again.
Take
Hey,
care.
George.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Yeah, I just downloaded a Spanish track. I'll learn how to speak Spanish.
That didn't work either. All right. Well, very good. I think we're 2.5 hour mark, but that's plenty, especially for those of you. Kirsten, you are what, 5, 6, 7.5 hours ahead of me. I'm at 4:30 p.m. and you're at midnight. How about Kuhn? What time is it in Kuhn's world?
11.
We are in the same time zone.
Yes, we are on the same
Yeah.
time zone. Yes.
Oh, okay, 11. Okay.
So
All right, so 7 hours difference from myself. Well, thanks for staying up so doggone late. And I think our Facebook group is 904 members from 90 different countries now. And
Yeah, that's great.
I'm confident I couldn't name 90 countries without reading them, but yeah, that it's a lot. So and there's double digits in probably the top 20 countries. So kind of cool that we've gotten some good strong reach and involvement. So, well, keep in touch. It's not always only have to be a Friday thing. Sometimes I'll spin up the kitchen on the fly for somebody who runs something for a job tomorrow, or shoot an email to ask questions or whatnot. But always good hanging out with all of you. So have a good evening, a good weekend as well. And if we don't see you before then, we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Jeff.